June 4th, 1942. The Pacific Ocean stretches endlessly beneath a deceptive calm. For 6 months, the Japanese Empire has swept across Asia and the Pacific like an unstoppable tsunami. Pearl Harbor, Singapore, the Philippines. Every battle, a Japanese victory. Every engagement, an American defeat. But today, near a tiny atoll called Midway, everything is about to change. This is the story of 5 minutes that turned the tide of World War II. 5 minutes when American dive bombers appeared through the clouds like avenging angels. 5 minutes that transformed certain defeat into miraculous victory. Admiral Yamamoto's Kido Butai was the most powerful naval strike force ever assembled. 4 fleet carriers, Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, and Hiryu. These floating fortresses had spearheaded every Japanese victory since Pearl Harbor. Their veteran pilots were the best in the world, their carriers seemingly invincible. The plan was simple: lure the American carriers into a trap, destroy them, and force the United States to negotiate peace. American Admiral Chester Nimitz knew the Japanese were coming. Thanks to brilliant codebreakers, he knew their plans, their target, even their timing. But knowing and winning are two very different things. The morning of June 4th began disastrously for the Americans. Wave after wave of torpedo bombers attacked the Japanese fleet. Slow, vulnerable, flying low over the water. The Japanese Zero fighters tore them apart. Torpedo Squadron 8, 15 aircraft launched, 14 shot down. Only 1 survivor. Torpedo Squadron 3, 12 aircraft, 10 lost. Torpedo Squadron 6, 14 aircraft, 10 destroyed. The ocean was littered with burning American planes and bodies. The Japanese hadn't lost a single ship. Their carriers were untouched, their confidence absolute. They were preparing a counterstrike that would annihilate the American fleet. But those torpedo bombers, dying as they attacked, had done something crucial. They had drawn every Japanese fighter down to sea level. 10:22 a.m. Lieutenant Commander Wade McClusky's dive bombers had been searching for hours, fuel running dangerously low. Then, through a break in the clouds, they saw it. The entire Japanese carrier fleet exposed and vulnerable. On the decks below, aircraft were being rearmed and refueled. Aviation gas lines were open. Bombs and torpedoes lay exposed. It was the worst possible moment for the Japanese, the best possible moment for the Americans. McClusky didn't hesitate. Attack immediately! 3 squadrons of dauntless dive bombers rolled into their attacks. 37 aircraft diving from 14,000 feet. The Japanese fighters were still at sea level, too far away. The carrier's anti-aircraft guns began firing, but it was too late. At exactly 10:26 a.m., the first bomb struck the Akagi, then the Kaga, then the Soryu. In 5 minutes, 3 Japanese carriers were transformed into floating infernos. Their hangars packed with fueled and armed aircraft erupted in chain reactions of explosions. 5 minutes. That's all it took. 5 minutes to turn defeat into victory. 5 minutes to change the course of the Pacific War. The Hiryu, the 4th carrier, survived the initial attack and launched a desperate counterstrike. Her bombers found and damaged the USS Yorktown. But American dive bombers found the Hiryu that afternoon and sent her to the bottom as well. By sunset on June 4th, all 4 Japanese fleet carriers were sinking or burning. Japan's carrier force, built over decades, was destroyed in a single day. The Japanese lost over 3,000 men, including many of their most experienced pilots. America lost the Yorktown and 300 men. But more importantly, America kept 2 carriers operational. The balance of power in the Pacific had shifted in one day. From that moment forward, Japan would be on the defensive. They would never again threaten Hawaii or the American West Coast. The road to Tokyo was long, brutal, and costly. But after Midway, there was a road. Military historians call Midway the most decisive naval battle in history, and it all came down to timing, courage, and 5 extraordinary minutes. Those torpedo bomber crews who died that morning didn't die in vain. Their sacrifice pulled the Japanese fighters out of position. Without them, McClusky's dive bombers would have faced an impenetrable fighter screen. The code breakers who gave Nimitz the intelligence. The pilots who kept searching when their fuel gauges read empty. The dive bomber crews who held their nerve through anti-aircraft fire. Every element had to align perfectly, and for 5 minutes, it did. Wars are decided by such moments. Moments when courage meets opportunity, when sacrifice enables victory, when ordinary men do extraordinary things. Midway was one of those moments. 5 minutes that proved America could fight back. 5 minutes that marked the beginning of the end for Imperial Japan. 5 minutes that changed everything. The men of Torpedo Squadron 8, the code breakers of Station Hypo, Wade McClusky, who found the carriers when all seemed lost, Admiral Nimitz, who positioned his carriers perfectly, Admiral Spruance, who made the tactical decisions, Dick Best, who personally bombed 2 carriers in one day, and the hundreds of sailors and pilots whose names history has forgotten, but whose courage changed the world. Midway reminds us that history turns on individual acts of valor, that impossible odds can be overcome, that defeat can become victory in minutes. The Pacific War would rage for 3 more years. But after those 5 minutes on June 4th, 1942, Japan was fighting a war it could no longer win. And America was fighting a war it would never lose. From one 5-minute moment, the entire Pacific theater was transformed. Japan's offensive capability was shattered. America's path to victory was opened. This is the power of decisive moments in history. If you found this story compelling, subscribe to Front Archives for more episodes exploring the battles that shaped our world. Next time, we leave the Pacific and travel to South America for a revolutionary story that changed a nation forever. The Pernambuco Revolution of 1817. Brazil's First Republic. A story of courage, betrayal, and the birth of Brazilian nationalism. Don't miss it. Subscribe now, and I'll see you in the next episode of Front Archives. History does not end. Neither does the archive. Subscribe to Front Archives and keep history alive.